welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, thanks for staying. Today we will be talking about what I have learned when I moved to South Korea, and just in general, what have I learned moving abroad for the very first time. Yes, it was my very first time. I've traveled and visited other countries, but Korea was the first time I've ever packed my bags and moved alone across the world without family or friends, completely alone. And yeah, this video is about how I felt and what I learned during that whole process. Do I recommend this? Yes. If you ever have the chance in your life to do this, especially if you're single and you're not necessarily attached to a lot of things back home, I highly recommend living somewhere for 6 months to a year where you're forced to learn a different culture, a different language. I highly recommend it. It's one of the most enriching experiences I've ever had. And I miss it already, and I want to do it more in different countries. Okay, let's get into it. What did I learn moving abroad for the first time in my life? Number one, that I am my own person. Now, this sounds so simple, but bear with me here. For most of my life, I've been surrounded by my friends, my family, which normal. If you live somewhere, that's normal. But for the first time, I had to really figure out who I was without my support system. So that was really interesting. I learned so many things about myself that I didn't know about myself before. One example is that I'm a bit of an outside person. And I say this because in Canada, I just had this thing of like, I'm an introvert, I prefer being at home and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I learned that I like to be outside, and I learned that I could walk forever. Which I don't know if it's good or bad. Like, I just walk. So some of my friends are like, girl, sit down, we need to have a rest, my feet hurt. And I'm like, okay, but we gotta go here, I want to visit here. And I never knew that about myself. So I like discovering new places. I like being outside. I like making new friends. Don't mind dancing. I want to go to a club once in a while. I'm not a huge clubber, but I learned that I just want to get up here and just dance. Just that's one thing I learned about myself, that I don't mind doing those things, because I think I've put myself in a box for so long, and then Korea just like brought this new energy. I don't know. Yeah, so that's what I learned. Yeah, I also learned that I had to have the strength and courage to do things on my own. This was a given. I knew that I would have to do a lot of things on my own living in Korea alone, but when you really are in the thick of it, it's a lot to deal with. Getting your own bank account on your own in a completely different language, booking doctor's appointments, doing anything administrative, going to immigration on your own. And again, these are normal things people do in Canada as well, obviously, but you're in a different country, you're alone, you don't know the language. So it takes strength, it takes patience, which I'm happy I had most of the time. And banking is one of those things that really tested my patience. Ooh, you know what, defamation laws are. I love my banking career. 사랑해. I lucked out in one aspect, because when I first came to Korea in 2022, I lived in a share house. So I lived with 4 other girls, and one of them had been in Korea for 2 years already. So I'm super grateful that she was able to help me with some of like the immigration stuff, booking appointments. So I lucked out in that way. I learned that language learning can get a bit easier because you are surrounded by the language every single day. I learned that language learning is just a little bit easier. I thought that since I'd been in Korea, my Korean would be
perfect.
안녕하세요, 제 이름은 에스테입니다. 반갑습니다. I thought that my Korean would be super, super fluent. Like, I'm surrounded by the language, I'm forced to integrate. Yes and no. I feel like you should come to Korea with at least the basics, at least knowing how to read Hangul and the basics, conversational basics. Where is this? How can I get this? Transport, grocery shopping, ordering at a restaurant. I feel like at least if you have that, you can survive in South Korea. And you can. Literally knowing just those things, you can survive in South Korea because there are English signs, there's the Korean, and then right underneath you'll have the English or Romanized version underneath. So you can get a little lazy with language learning. I think that you still have to put in maximum effort to learn the language. So yeah, it's not as easy as it seems. You still have to put in a lot of work, sign up to a Hagwon, do a language exchange, or just self-study, which I'm doing right now because Hagwons were frigging expensive for some reason. So I'm still, well, eventually when I move back, hopefully find a Hagwon that is a bit cheaper because girl, what the heck. Next one is you are forced to do things alone, especially for the first couple of months of living in Korea or living abroad. You will have to do a few things alone. You won't have friends right away unless you've met them before online or what have you. In my case, again, I lucked out because I had 4 built-in friends when I first moved to Korea. And from there, like, I went out with them, I went to Korean classes with them, I did a lot, and I'm super grateful for that. Because if I were alone, which a lot of you probably will be, you'll have to do things alone. Grocery shopping, going to cafes, going to the movie. You have to learn how to be in your own company, at least for the first few months while you're settling in and making friends. Otherwise, a lot of people usually go on these Facebook groups, and a month or 2 before they move to Korea, they'll be like, hey, my name is so-and-so, I'm X years old, I'm coming to teach in South Korea. I will be in this area. If you'd like to hang out or be friends, please let me know. I've definitely done that. And there was some good responses and there was some responses. From Facebook, I probably went out with 1 or 2 girls that I met on there. And we're not super close or anything now, but like it was nice to just at least have a connection, meet someone new. And someone who's like-minded, who's traveling, who looks like you. It was great. So there are many ways to make friends. You don't have to come here completely alone, but know that there are many resources to make friends. You can use apps like Hello Talk, and like I said, Facebook as well. Many groups for expats, foreigners, foreign teachers, models, whatever, who live and work in South Korea. Speaking of friends, oh dear, making friends can be interesting. I don't know about any other country, but specifically in Korea, it can be a little complicated. Why do I think this? Just because if you're a foreigner in Korea, you know that there are like only a few paths to like living and working there and being successful there. One, the most obvious one is teaching English in South Korea. The second one, you could have been maybe transferred from your job back home to a Korean branch or working there a few months, but that's also like quite rare. That's not quite very common. Another one is modeling. That's pretty common, modeling or entertainment. And if you're a student, university student, exchange student, or working holiday, you're here for 6 months to a year, you're working somewhere part-time. So it's really like those 3 or 4 ways that foreigners can move to South Korea, for now at least. And sometimes there's a bit of like tension that I've observed. I don't know why. Some foreigners, not all, most that I've met have been super lovely to me and I'm super grateful, but there's sometimes with the people that I've met this underlying like tension, dare I say competition, to be like the number 1 token foreigner in South Korea, which I think is so ridiculous because babes, we are all on the same boat. we are all doing what we can, surviving. You know, we're all facing like some sort of like weird discrimination or what have you. So it's just weird to come here being like, I miss it. It's so weird to go to Korea with the idea that you are going to be the best or the best foreigner, the most fluent foreigner. I don't know, that I have no idea. So sometimes making friends in Korea can be a little bit complicated because there's that sense of competition and entitlement, especially in a field like entertainment, because the entertainment jobs, like, they are throwing scraps at the foreigners. So, you know, in most cases, yes, you have to be like the token foreigner, white girl, black girl, whatever, that they pick for, you know, commercials and whatever. And also the Delulu stands, again, there's, you know, some foreigners that are just, you know, happen to live in Korea and they're chill and they're not super into K-media and stuff. And then there are foreigners that, like, that's their whole personality, to be a Korea boo, and like, whatever, that's your thing. But like, sometimes it's weird to try to get close to someone like that, because you can tell right off the bat, like, oh, okay, I know why they are here. And again, that's their life, they can do whatever they want, no judgments, but it doesn't necessarily align with like your values and ideas of friendship. Of course we can talk about K-pop and K-dramas, of course, but it's like, if that's your whole thing, that's your whole reason for being in Korea, I'm like,
Shut the hell up, bitch.
that's what baffles me the most. Like, if you're gonna be a Korea boo, be the Korea boo. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna be a Korea boo, I need you to be topic level 4, okay? I need you to be fluent. I don't want to say bad side, but that's like the weird side of making friends with other foreigners in Korea. The good side is that you are surrounded most likely by like-minded people, which is amazing. I love like-minded people who love to travel, who love to experience different food and cultures, because again, you can run into foreigners that are like in Korea because they have to be, and they don't want anything to do with Korean culture, or like they're not interested in the food, they're not interested in learning the language, they're just kind of there because they're, I don't know, job, spouse, whatever. And there are some who genuinely are interested in the culture outside of like dramas and pop culture, which is fine too. But like, you can tell that they want to experience new places, go to interesting events, festivals, try different foods. They don't mind conversing with locals. Like, I love that. Oh, I love that so much. So in that way, yes, you can meet like-minded individuals, which is super fun. Yes, that is what I learned. Living abroad has taught me to be even more fiercely independent. It has taught me to take more initiative. It has taught me to embrace the version of myself I'm becoming, and that it's okay to try new things and new experiences. As you probably know from my previous videos, I dated a whole bunch in Korea, and just because for the first time, I was living alone, I was figuring out who I am, and I kind of neglected that side of me in Canada, really neglected.
I don't know, I just don't think this is like great for me. I don't want to do it. I want to go home. Like, I can't take the pressure of it. But don't you think any job interview...
So I was like, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna go all in, and I'm gonna explore all facets of my life, which I'm so proud of myself for doing that. And yeah, I just can't wait to go back. I love it, but I really want to live in Japan as well. I don't know, we'll see. Let me know in the comments if you yourself have moved abroad. It doesn't have to be South Korea, and what you have learned about yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.